Palestine. Palestine refers to the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and Gaza, claimed by the State of Palestine since 1988. It is recognized by over 130 UN member states, yet remains under Israeli occupation or control. Gaza, ruled by Hamas since 2007, has been the focus of devastating war since Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. Israel's response has killed tens of thousands, displaced much of Gaza's population, and destroyed critical infrastructure. In 2025, a UN Commission on Rights Groups concluded Israel is committing genocide. Civilian deaths, mass displacement, and siege policies dominate the conflict, while peace efforts remain paralyzed. Ukraine. The Ukraine-Russia war centers on 4 Ukrainian regions that Russia claims to have annexed in 2022: Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhzhia. These territories were occupied in varying degrees after Russia's full-scale invasion and declared annexed following internationally condemned referendums. Russia exerts full control over Luhansk, but only partial control in the other 3 regions, with ongoing Ukrainian counteroffensives reclaiming ground. Despite Moscow's annexation decrees, the UN and most countries recognize these areas as sovereign Ukrainian territory. Heavy fighting, civilian casualties, and displacement continue as the front lines shift across these disputed regions. Taiwan. Taiwan, officially the Republic of China, ROC, has operated independently since 1949, when the nationalist government retreated there after losing the Chinese Civil War. It has developed into a vibrant democracy and major global economy, especially in technology and semiconductors. However, the People's Republic of China claims Taiwan as a breakaway province and pressures countries to withhold recognition. Only about a dozen states officially recognize Taiwan, though many maintain unofficial ties. The US and allies support Taiwan militarily and economically without formal recognition. Rising cross-strait tensions make Taiwan one of the world's most sensitive flashpoints. Kashmir. Kashmir is a mountainous region in South Asia contested by India, Pakistan, and to a lesser extent, China. After the partition of British India in 1947, conflict erupted when Kashmir's ruler acceded to India, sparking the First Indo-Pakistani War. The territory has since been divided. India controls Jammu, Kashmir Valley, and Ladakh. Pakistan administers Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. China holds Aksai Chin. Several wars and insurgencies have marked the dispute, with heavy militarization and frequent clashes. India revoked Jammu and Kashmir's autonomy in 2019, intensifying tensions. The conflict remains unresolved, with ongoing violence and competing national claims. Kosovo. Kosovo, a landlocked territory in the Balkans, declared independence from Serbia in 2008, following years of conflict and international administration. The Kosovo War between 1998 and 1999 ended with NATO intervention against Serbian forces and the establishment of UN oversight. Since independence, Kosovo has built its own government, institutions, and economy, and is recognized by over 100 UN member states, including the United States and most of the European Union. However, Serbia, Russia, China, and several other countries refuse recognition. Tensions periodically flare, especially in Serb-majority northern Kosovo, leaving its international status unresolved despite growing Western integration. Greenland. Greenland, an autonomous territory of Denmark, manages most domestic affairs, while Denmark oversees defense and foreign policy. It achieved home rule in 1979 and self-government in 2009, allowing for potential independence. Its economy still leans heavily on fishing and Danish funding, though mining and resource prospects are rising. Recently, Donald Trump has repeatedly asserted the U.S. will get Greenland one way or another, said annexation could occur without military force, and refused to rule out using force. He's called ownership essential for U.S. security. Greenlandic and Danish officials strongly reject such claims. Western Sahara. Western Sahara, a vast desert region on Africa's Atlantic coast, has been disputed since Spain's withdrawal in 1975. Morocco annexed most of the territory, while the Polisario Front, representing the Sahrawi people, proclaimed the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic and sought independence. A guerrilla war ensued until a 1991 UN-brokered ceasefire, which promised a referendum on self-determination that has never occurred. Today, Morocco controls about 80% of the territory, while the Polisario governs refugee camps and a sparsely populated, liberated zone. The conflict remains unresolved, with Morocco offering autonomy and the Polisario demanding full independence. Northern Cyprus. Otherwise known as Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, declared independence in 1983, following Turkey's 1974 military intervention after a Greek-backed coup in Cyprus. The intervention split the island, with Turkish Cypriots controlling the north and Greek Cypriots the south. The Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus functions with its own government, institutions, and economy, but it is recognized only by Turkey. The rest of the world and the United Nations consider it part of the Republic of Cyprus. Decades of negotiations, including UN-led peace talks, have failed to resolve the division. The North remains economically reliant on Turkey and politically isolated internationally. Somaliland. Somaliland in the Horn of Africa declared independence from Somalia in 1991 after the collapse of Siad Barre's regime and years of civil war. Since then, it has maintained relative stability, its own government, military, currency, and democratic elections, functioning as a de facto state. Despite this, no country formally recognizes it, with the African Union and UN considering it part of Somalia. Somaliland emphasizes its distinct colonial history under British rule and stronger governance compared to Somalia. While diplomatically isolated, it continues to lobby for recognition, especially from neighboring states and international partners. Kurdistan refers to the homeland of the Kurds, spanning southeastern Turkey, northern Iraq, northwestern Iran, and northern Syria. Kurds, numbering over 25 million, are one of the largest stateless ethnic groups. In Iraq, the Kurdistan regional government enjoys wide autonomy and even held a 2017 independence referendum, though independence was blocked by Baghdad and neighboring states. In Syria, Kurdish-led forces administer Rojava, an autonomous region unrecognized internationally. Kurdish movements in Turkey and Iran face repression and armed conflict. Despite aspirations, Kurdish independence remains fragmented, opposed by powerful neighbors, and lacks coordinated international recognition. Abkhazia. Abkhazia lies on the Black Sea coast and broke away from Georgia during the early 1990s, following the collapse of the Soviet Union. After a brutal war in 1992 to 1993, it declared independence and established de facto control. Russia formally recognized Abkhazia after the 2008 Russo-Georgian War, alongside a handful of other states, but the vast majority of the world still regards it as part of Georgia. Today, Abkhazia maintains its own government and armed forces, though it is heavily reliant on Russian military, political, and financial support. South Ossetia. South Ossetia is a small, mountainous region in the South Caucasus that sought independence from Georgia after the Soviet Union's collapse. A violent conflict in the early 1990s led to de facto separation, with renewed war in 2008 when Georgia attempted to reassert control. Russia intervened militarily, decisively backing South Ossetian forces and later recognizing its independence. Only a handful of other states followed suit. The region remains economically and militarily dependent on Moscow, while most of the international community continues to regard it as Georgian territory under occupation. Transnistria, officially the Pridnestrovian Moldavian Republic, is a breakaway territory in eastern Moldova along the Dniester River, bordering Ukraine. It declared independence in 1990, fearing Moldova's alignment with Romania. A short but violent war in 1992 ended with a Russian-brokered ceasefire, leaving Transnistria outside Moldovan control. Today it operates as a de facto state with its own government, army, currency, and border controls. However, it lacks recognition from any UN member. Russia maintains troops there, ensuring its survival, while Moldova continues to claim sovereignty. Artsakh. Artsakh, also known as Nagorno-Karabakh, is a mountainous enclave internationally recognized as part of Azerbaijan, but historically home to a majority Armenian population. In the late 1980s, rising nationalism and the collapse of the Soviet Union sparked conflict between Armenians and Azerbaijanis, culminating in a full-scale war, 1988 to 1994, that left Armenians in control. A fragile peace held until renewed fighting in 2020, when Azerbaijan regained significant territory with Turkish support and modern weaponry. In September 2023, Azerbaijan launched another offensive, forcing Artsakh's authorities to dissolve the republic. Today, its Armenian population has largely fled, but the independence movement survives in exile. Kayin State. Kayin State, also known as Kayin State, is a region in southeastern Myanmar home to the Karen ethnic minority. Since Myanmar's independence in 1948, the Karen National Union and its armed wing, the Karen National Liberation Army, have fought one of the world's longest-running insurgencies, seeking autonomy or independence. Although ceasefires have been signed, fighting frequently resumes, especially after Myanmar's 2021 military coup reignited ethnic conflicts. Karen forces currently control significant rural areas, running parallel administrations. The struggle reflects Myanmar's broader ethnic conflicts, with Kayin State symbolizing resistance to central military rule and aspirations for self-determination.